Hey friends, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. This is Gina. I'm here with you today to go over some Britax car seats. So today we're going to focus on Britax convertible seats. We're going to talk about some of the different platforms that they have, and we're going to do this as rapidly as possible because I initially tried to already film this and we went beyond 30 minutes, which is horrifying. So if I leave anything out, feel free to leave comments or questions below and I will do my best to answer them for you. So starting out, if we're looking at the Britax Emblem here. So why I wanted to start with this seat is chronologically, this is going to be the oldest seat that Britax is still making. It's a platform that they've had forever. This is a seat that's built on what was referred to as their G4 platform. This is a seat that's made in the US. So all of the Britax seats, with the exception of the Willow S, and the Poplar, are going to be made in the US. So that's exciting. They're made in Fort Mill. I got to go. It's a very cool factory. It was really cool to see the assembly and all of it and Americans working. So we do love that. But the seat has some really nice features. So some of the things that were surprising to me about it is just that this is a seat that's intended to be installed with the lower anchor connectors. So it was designed a long time ago, probably in the mid to 2000s, maybe in the early 2010s. But the idea was the lower anchor was still the primary focus of how to install the seat. Convertible seats by and large now are much more focused on having a good seatbelt installation versus a good lower anchor connector installation. But if you have a reason that maybe lower anchors are preferred by you or by a caregiver that you're dealing with, this is going to be a really nice option for that. You'll notice on the side of the seat, you do get a steel frame. On the base of the seat, they have what's called safe cell technology, which is just a series of hexagon plastic pieces where it takes longer for it to crush, which is good. It increases ride down in an accident, which is what we want. The other thing about this seat that I really liked was that it has multiple layers of this bike helmet foam. So that's this black foam that you see here. That's actually lining all the way down the interior of the seat. So shockingly, for Britax, this is their cheapest seat. It's $250, and this one had the most bike helmet foam, which I found kind of surprising. I would have expected on more expensive seats that they would have had more. Very clearly labeled infant pillow, comes out after 22 pounds. That's for rear facing. And the seat will go backward up to 40 pounds, forward facing up to 65. You can use the lower anchors up to the 40 and rear facing, and up to 50 pounds in forward facing. So that's very exciting. Additionally, the seat's only about 18.25 inches wide. The seated torso height for the shoulder straps are going to be 17.5 inches, so it's a very accommodating seat. Just a really solid choice, a really strong value for dollar. I do love this seat. The only thing I would give it like less marks on is the fact that they don't have an option for any anti-rebound bar that would go here. They had planned on doing that. They never released it in the US. It was available in Canada, but again, never for a US audience, which is a shame because we do love an anti-rebound feature. And I love, again, the convenience feature on this seat, which is their cheapest seat, has the Velcro to hold the harness away. Their more expensive seats don't have that, which again is a shame. And I think you get two buckle positions here at about 5.5 and I think 7.5 for those pieces. The only thing incredibly annoying on this seat, to be honest, were these rubber pieces for the chest positioning, but you could remove them for rear facing for sure. You should probably reinstall them for forward facing when you get to that point. But this is 49 standing inches in backward or forward. So it's a very accommodating seat, and you're looking at, I think it's 11 for the width and the depth on the seat itself. So this is a pretty nice little seat, very lightweight, an excellent choice if you're looking to use lower anchors. I will say they do have belt lock-offs for forward and for rear facing that are very easy to use too. It's just the next platform that I'm about to get into, which is called Click Tight, is going to be better for seatbelt installations. So because there was that focus on moving to doing more belt and less of the lower anchor connectors, Britax did a really cool thing, and they invented a way to install the car seat with a piece called Click Tight. So there's a dial on the front of the seat. You spin it, that opens this plate up. We're able to see where the seatbelt ought to lay, and then we will close this to clamp onto the seatbelt. Anytime you have a click-tight seat, we would encourage you to use the click-tight mechanism with the seatbelt over the lower anchors. Now, something that was surprising to me about this seat was that the only foam in all of the seat was in the headrest. So Boulevard has that EPP foam here, but throughout the body of the seat it doesn't. You still get the steel frame, you still get the safe cell technology in the base. Your recline mechanism here is more advanced than on your G4 platform, meaning there's more places, it's a greater spectrum of places for it to stop and recline. And the other thing that was kind of shocking to me about this seat was that it has a 19.5 seated torso height for the torso of the seat, which is really pretty accommodating. And then the other surprising thing, which is part of the reason why I guess I moved away from selling these, is that it's a rear-facing capacity of only 40 pounds. So it goes 5 to 40 rear-facing, and then up to 65 forward-facing, no booster seat. We're not even going to talk about the Marathon, which is the same thing as the Boulevard, but the Marathon has no bike helmet foam whatsoever. I opened my boxed one up and I hated that so much that I put it immediately back into the box. Shocking to me on a Britax seat to not have any of the bike helmet foam whatsoever. So this Marathon, Boulevard, Advocate, they're all the same seat skeleton. It's just a matter of how much side impact you want. So Boulevard was always my most popular. Price point is $349. The biggest thing about these seats too was that you had an option to do an anti-rebound bar on the seat. So that is a piece that would hook up on the front of the seat where the kids' feet are. And this would be for backward facing mode to help limit rebound in an accident. So the biggest gripe that consumers had with these rebound bars for this model, Advocate, Marathon, they move a lot, they make a noise. That sounds like it's broken. It's not broken, it's working, but it definitely didn't sit well with consumers. It was a really easy piece to take in and out, which you know I appreciate, but definitely didn't make them feel good about the product. So they're actually moving away from making these. So you're gonna see in the next year less and less options for Marathon, Boulevard. I think they got rid of Advocate already. And the reason being is that this is a really, really old name for them. They've had this seat probably for like the last 15 years, and it's just time for them to move on to a completely new platform. So if you look at their all-in-one seat, which is called the One for Life, that also has a really nice tall seated torso harness height at about 19 inches. You've got a body pillow for infants that's marked very clearly to come out after 20 pounds, which is great. This guy's also going to have 2 cup holders. That's probably another indication that it's their most expensive, most premier seat. The other thing with this guy is you're going to get that bike helmet foam throughout the headpiece, but then you also get it all the way down the side of the seat. The seat is super breathable. They offer the safe wash fabrics, which have no additional frame retardants. The other thing I appreciate about the seat is the recline adjustment is on the side of the seat. It's not on the front of the seat, so that's a much more useful place to put it when we're actually doing a rear-facing installation. I'm going to turn the seat to the side here and show off. The click-tight mechanism on this one is different than that dial that we saw. Here we have 2 red buttons that will pinch together and lift up. So that pinch is on the Poplar, that pinch is on the Grow With You, and then this pinch is also on the One for Life. So no more dial. Any seat with the dial is basically going away. The anti-rebound bar sold separately for this seat looks like this. And you see it's very different than the other one that I just showed you. This guy's gonna be more annoying to install. It's more work. You also have to make sure that like you clear all the material around it, otherwise it won't lock in. But the nice thing about it, and this is not correctly installed right now, but the nice thing about it is that you don't have that wiggle that you have with the other style of anti-rebound bar. Additionally, customers seem to appreciate when you want to remove it, there's actually a button on the inside that you'll push on each side in order to get it to pop out. It's that red button there. Consumers appreciated the little mesh here to prevent the kids' feet from going underneath and getting squashed. It never really happened, but fear of it definitely was real. So it's nice that they've addressed it with a much better anti-rebound bar. So that's sold separately. There may still be a few versions of this seat floating around that include it. But you heard again that very specific click for the click tight. The seat depth here is the deepest, it's 13 inches, and then the width on the seat is 12 inches wide all the way through. I know that there's reads that it's only 11, but I measured it and it's 12, not 11 inches. And again, this one will come with a cup holder, so it's a little wider than all the other seats that they offer. The width on this seat is, I believe, 19 and a half. So again, rear facing up to 50 pounds, forward facing up to 65. 49 inches standing height for 5-point harness, and then booster, it'll go up to 63 inches. And I believe the booster seat weight limit on it is like 120 pounds. So that's ridiculous. So you've got your backward, your forward, and your booster all rolled into one seat. This seat is still made in America. Now, let's get into the sort of outlier of all of these, which is the Poplar. So the Poplar kind of looks like the Bizarro World version. You're familiar with Bizarro World. It's the Bizarro World version of that Boulevard that I just showed you. So the colors are reversed on it. Instead of, oh no, this is the Boulevard. Where is the Poplar? It's like, why is the plastic white? It's supposed to be black. Here it is. Now this is making more sense, my Bizarro World comparison. So it's the same, but it's different. So what are our differences? We have black plastic instead of white plastic. We still have the two-tone. This is going to be safe wash. I've already removed the infant pad from this Poplar. It will come with one, again, clearly marked on here to take it out after 22 pounds, only for rear-facing mode, so that's very clear. Poplar is exciting because it's narrow overall. So it's only 17 inches wide, and this seat has click tight. So in theory, you should be able to put 3 next to each other in most cars. Again, not guaranteed, but something you could do if you wanted. This guy is made in China. The other seats that we were looking at were all made in the US. So that is a huge departure for them for this. You're still gonna get the steel frame like we got on all the other seats. You still have safe cell down here at the bottom, although it's not called out. On the other seats it's red, here it's black. I think they probably got a lot of blowback about the red safe cell. People don't like how that looks. They think it looks dorky. So maybe sleeker with black, but it is still there, which is very nice to be to have that for the reassurance. In the headpiece here, you're gonna get that bike helmet foam. Now it's not anywhere else in the seat, so it's similar to the Boulevard in that regard. But where it might be more useful is, again, it's only 17 inches wide. The width of the seat here is 12 inches. So that's really a nice thing to keep in mind. That's the same as our One for Life. It isn't as deep as the One for Life. It is a shallower seat depth. It's only 11 inches. But again, you're 12 inches wide. Your buckle strap depth is going to be 4 and 7 inches. So pretty useful. And our seated torso height here is 17. So it's the shortest harness height out of all the seats we were looking at. But it does do extended rear facing. So this one will hold 50 pounds backward versus 40 on all the other ones I showed you except the One for Life. So that's exciting. This is a 50-pound rear facing weight limit, and then a forward facing up to 65. All the seats I showed you, with the exception of the first one, the Emblem, they all have a 10-year expiration date. The Emblem is going to have a 7-year expiration date. They all have a 1-year warranty. So warranty versus expiration date is different. That might be something to sort of familiarize yourself with. And the biggest difference here with the Chinese seat is going to be the click type mechanism. So instead of 2 red buttons, we have 2 gray buttons. I will tell you, when you push this down to engage the click tight on the seatbelt, you really need to be very specific about where you have your hand. So I would tell parents or caregivers to push in between those 2 buttons and getting it to lock down It's definitely a little bit more work. There we go. So again, the other styles that I showed you, you could literally push anywhere on the seat to get it to engage. On this new style, you have to be very deliberate to have your hand or your center of where it's being pushed correct. Otherwise, those pieces will not click. The other thing is the click is not as loud or robust as on the American style. I don't really care for that. My preference would be for it to still be as lazy and as easy as it's been. But I understand at the price point that they're going for here, which is $300, they had to make some changes on it in order to hit that price point. So I do respect and understand where they're coming from, but it is a difference. So hopefully that's helpful, and it explains a little bit about what's going on with Britax. I understand it's incredibly confusing right now, and there's a lot of confusion about where stuff is made. Remember, only the Willow S, and the Poplars are made in China. All the rest are made in the US. An exciting thing about Poplar, it's got holes in it, which means that there will be an anti-rebound bar for this. It's coming out in 2024. So not here yet, but will be here for the new year, which is very exciting. And the material here is safe wash, which means it's the flame retardant free and easy to wash. So if you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. We covered a ton of ground really, really quickly. Hopefully that was useful. Again, feel free to hit like or subscribe if this video is useful for anybody that you know and you think you should share it. Go ahead and share it, okay? Check us out in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate every viewer and every view. Have a good rest of the day.